Here I am at the Vitalis facility, and Tom's going to walk me through how they make the food here at Vitalis. A lot of security measures here. I'm just along for the ride, going to bring you with me, and we're going to see how this thing's made. All right?
Okay, so Shawn, we're in the low care side of the changing room here, and we have to enter into the high care side. And the reason is we're very conscious of the biosecurity and the level of hygiene where we actually make the food. They have to have shoe protection or specialist shoes that they wear within the production. They have to have overalls, hair nets, in my case a beard net, so that you don't get any contamination in the food whilst it's being made.
This is exciting.
So yeah, we need to stay on the yellow. Obviously the guys in the production side are on the blue. So we have a variety of products being made at the moment. We have pellet and some of the feed block, which is for our aquaculture customers on the salmon farming side. And I believe we've also got some of the smaller ones there as well, which often go into both public aquarium and into the retail market. You can also see the vacuums here, taking the pellets out and taking them away from the machines. All of that was designed and built by ourselves. Mark Wilson, who is our founder, during his earlier days was in the marine ornamental hatchery side of things. He designed and built a hatchery, producing lots of different marine ornamental fish. And one of his challenges was he couldn't find feed in the aquaculture market or the pet market that would cater for the breeding needs of these specific species. When we looked at how you actually need to produce this on a bigger scale, there wasn't a machine that would work. He wanted to look at what was really key for the fish, which was the ingredient side, so the formulation. How do you process that without destroying a lot of the components within it? Right. The only way we could do that is design the machine to not destroy it, and we had to do that ourselves. This also had the added benefit of producing a soft pellet, which again, and it is actually more palatable for most of the animals out there because they find it easier to eat rather than some of the harder pellets. But this is all to do with the combination of high quality ingredients and the process that we use, which is unique to World Feeds and therefore the Vitalis brand.
Are we allowed to take a look at the product
so
that's running?
Looks like a 1 millimeter pellet to me, so this has just come fresh off the machine. Most of the harder baked products will be a larger pellet that then gets broken down into a crumb, which they can do obviously because it's more brittle, but we have to produce it at this size. These are a 4 millimeter pellet.
That's completely soft, so you could just crush it right there between your fingers. Completely pliable. I've never seen that in a fish food. Okay.
Pop that back, it's fine.
Well, I crushed it.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Fair enough. I don't want to put the weird one in there.
This is still a bit more of a manual process because we're working on the cutters for these. So this particular product is for our cleaner fish diet, which is for the cleaner fish that go in the salmon pens in both Norway and Scotland and a little bit in Canada. Essentially like making a very, very large pellet. The idea with the grazing type diets we do is that they hold together in water in a recirculation system up to 24 hours, in the sea probably 48 hours. And it allows the fish to just graze naturally all day long. They have ridges in there as well, just so the fish's mouth can get purchase on them, because the species we're talking about there need that when they start off. You can actually cut them in half, so if that's too much food for you, you can then change
just cut
them
it
out
in slices.
Yeah. So this is where everything is put together, the initial mix or the initial formulation. Jane over here doing the first parts of the formulation.
Hi, Jane. Hello.
Adding some of the different ingredients that we use together, and eventually they will all end up in the big steel bin that you see on the wheels over there. They'll come through and they'll weigh the whole batch on here, which is a final check to say, is this going to be the right percentages and the right weight. So this is where they actually mix all of those ingredients together. So if you take the baking equivalent, like a cake, it's your blender or it's your mixer that's mixing your flour and sugar, if you like. It's the same deal with this. You need to get uniformity within the mix. We have different parts of that. You do a dry mix, and then you do the one with the liquid elements of it, with the water and the oils. And then once both of those have been done, it will get wheeled through into the production area.
So she's putting all the master ingredients in here, so she's like the chef.
She is, yeah. And we have an electronic management system that tells the guys what to make at what time, and so we get the production flow going in the most efficient way that we can. Time and intention and money on the ingredients, they come in clean. A lot of them are human food grade. We need to maintain that cleanliness. You can see the kind of lift. It gets lifted up, put into the hopper, and then we'll go through the machine to produce the pellets. This is exactly what it looks like after it's been tumbled. It goes into the extruder, eventually gets vacuumed up off the extruder and down into the settling pipes and straight into the bins that we saw earlier. This area here is mainly for the retail product, because obviously that goes into smaller packages, lots of different pot sizes, lots of different formulas. Some of the larger stuff, the bulk stuff for the aquariums and the aquaculture side, just gets put straight into the larger buckets. Another point to mention that this is still the high care area.
Okay.
So we still have the blue floor here, which denotes high care. So you can't, except in emergency, you can't get out to there without going all the way back through those changing rooms with the biosecurity. So this is still part of the production area. So once the product's packed, then it goes into the shrink wrap for the packs of 6, which generally is what we pack the retail product into. Through a metal detector, just again as another level of security, so we make sure that there's never any contamination with metal in the product. Then the product is transferred onto the racking from this side, so from the production side, if you like, and you can see the amount of different products we make and the different pot sizes we do. So again, this is why it can be quite a complicated process to organize all the SKUs, all of the pot sizes, and make sure that we have enough stock of these. We use what's called a Kanban system, which is a traditional system of keeping stock and keeping stock levels at the right level. Every single batch that we make, we take a trace lot from, and we keep that for 3 years. If we're ever inspected, then obviously we need to show that we have trace lots of everything we've made. Full traceability for all products as soon as it's made. Some of that will be sent off straight away to get the testing for the bacterial side of things. As soon as that comes back on a negative, and when I say that there's nothing in it in that sense, then the product can be released for sale. So this is a very important part of the hygiene. We steam clean everything after every run, every batch, because it has to be completely sterile so that we can then start the new batch afresh. Again, the hygiene standards have to be incredibly high.
Every container between legging them, you need to clean this out before new food is added.
Yeah.
Even if you're making the same batch of product.
Yes. So again, because of what I've just talked about with the traceability,
right.
you don't want to contaminate batches. Or I say contaminate. You don't want to mix batches,
right.
Because then the traceability
has a little bit of resins of one batch mixed with another.
So you have to do it so it's fully transparent throughout the whole process. I mean, at the end of the day, this is food. So if you don't keep it in a hygienic state,
right.
Then
because if you were to test the batch, they're saying something's wrong with this, and then you made 3 or 4 more batches.
You have to keep everything here as clean as you would your kitchen surface, if not cleaner, which is why we use the steam. And that then starts you off with the base platform to make food in the most hygienic way. The other side...
It looks completely different on that side. I can barely recognize you.
Now we're moving into the non-high care area. But by this time, all the food is actually packed. They could be going anywhere around the world, to be honest, because we export to 40 different countries and regions, to distributors generally, sometimes to aquariums directly, but most of that goes through distribution now. So this gives you an idea of the range of products that we have on the shelf, ready to go. Different pot sizes, different products. The blue labels are the saltwater or marine products. The green labels are the freshwater tropical products, and then the orange labels are generally the cold water goldfish products. And then over this side we would have larger, more bulk products which will go into public aquariums, sometimes into retail stores if they have customers with very large tanks. The end there you can see the white buckets with what looks like very small labels on. That is our shop use. So that is designed for retailers to use. So down here and on those shelves there are a selection of the public aquarium products that we do. Not only is it that they are obviously bigger pack sizes, but you've got the whole range of pellet sizes from the 1mm all the way up to the 15mm, and then the big blocks that you saw being produced as well.
What do we have here, Tom? This is...
Okay, so this is the extrusion side of the factory.
Right.
We also have the flaking side of the factory. So
okay,
obviously we do quite a few flake products. That's made in one of the other buildings.
Okay.
And then sealed.
Okay.
In its boxes. Brought over here because this is where the packing area is. So it's sealed and then packed in the high care area in the same way that everything else is packed.
Is that it, Tom? This is the process?
I think that's pretty much everything that you're going to see on this side of things today.
All right, am I ready to go sell?
Not yet. We need to get you out into some of our local UK customers so you can see how it's actually being sold by the guys who've been selling it for a while. And not only selling it for a while, but using it for a while, both on their shop systems. Hopefully we'll get to go into a public aquarium and you can see guys who've been using it for a long time there and see what benefits it brings them as customers to their stores and to their animals.
So this is why it was more of a 9-day trip instead of a 4-day trip.
Yeah, well, you know, you have to listen to some of the English accents talking about it before you can sell it in American.
Okay, well, Tom, thank you for walking me through here. I can't wait to go see some of the shops. What a process. I really did not quite expect this to be this meticulous. I would feel very good if I knew that even my own food had that much care going into it, but I don't think that it does. All right, Tom. Thank you. All right, let's go.